Good evening, everyone. For our agenda tonight, we'll start off as usual. We'll have a flag salute, announcements, minutes of the last meeting if anybody has any corrections. Then Sterling King is going to give us a talk on avoiding scams on pest control for the summer. Then Spence Leafdale will talk about the K-Hit Sacramento bus trip. It was a really interesting trip that Spence and I went on with another group of people, and we got to talk to a lot of our elected official. Then we're going to go back to the Santa Clarita Valley Sanitation District, part of Where Your Money is Going, Part 2. In this case, I'll show you the results of one of the public records requests that we put in, and then some new ones because of other things that have happened. Then we'll have the 2013 County Country Advisory Committee elections, our version of public participation, which is 1 minute for the first 5 people. And one thing that we ought to really talk about is that if you have something that you'd like to talk about at the end of the meeting, please be sure to sign up on the list so that we can get the meeting over in a timely manner. Then we'll have a preview of the next 2 meetings, actually, and the meeting will adjourn. Now, normally at this time we go through a tribute to somebody or something that's happened. Obviously, the Boston bombings occurred this week, and it was a horrific event and a tragedy that left 3 people dead and a large group of people wounded and injured. But at the same time, we always talk about the fact that there are heroes everywhere. We had some people that rose to the occasion right at that time and helped out. So when we talk about Carlos, okay, very good. But anyway, you saw him in a photograph of a man in a wheelchair being pushed away as he had some bloody shreds of exposed flesh and bone dangling where his right leg should be. At his side was Carlos in a cowboy hat holding a tourniquet around the victim's leg and talking to him and encouraging him all the way. Also, Joe was a retired NFL lineman, and he played for 3 years for the New England Patriots as Super Bowl championship teams. And he was near the finish line waiting for his wife when the explosions ripped through the crowd. And he carried a woman to safety and showed that he also was to rise to the occasion. But he said in a statement soon after his photo hit and became a highlight on Facebook, and he said that the first responders, medics, EMTs, and runners who crossed the finish line and kept on running straight to give blood, and the countless citizens who did whatever they could to save lives, they were the real heroes. And it shows that no matter what happens, there are heroes all around us, and it's great to be part of the United States. So with that, Andre, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. For announcements, again, let me remind you that on April the 30th, we're going to, at Rosedale Elementary School, will be the 3rd of Mayor Keller's town hall meetings. So if you were unable to make the first 2, or even if you did make the first 2 and have some more questions, it's perfectly okay. You do not have to live in Saugus to be there on April 30th. Again, there'll be one more after that on May the 7th in Valencia. There's been emails been sent out. I've got them from Ken Striplin, also from Mayor Keller, and that's on the You Talk, We'll Listen approach that the city is trying to take. And so they're launching this effort to increase the level of participation they have with the residents in their in local governmental matters. So in order to do that, they've created a survey, and they're very anxious for you to take it. It's on the city website, and it deals in how you would like to hear from them and how you would like to interact back in the other direction. So hopefully this will be an opening of some new avenues of communications. On Friday at 9 a.m., there's going to be the legislative subcommittee meeting. I'm really interested in this legislative subcommittee meeting because I'd like to know if they're going to talk anything about the legislative approaches that they intend to take on the chloride issue, because that's one of the avenues and possibilities of solving that problem. And I understand that at the last council meeting when they talked about that, they said they were taking some legislative approaches, and so maybe we'll get more details on what they are. There's also going to be the second Riverdale Park and Open Space Master Plan public meeting. So if on May the 8th at 5:30, so if you're interested in putting your input in on what Riverdale Park is going to look like, that's the time to go and see and do it. One of the other things that are going to be taking place is a public hearing of the Public Utilities Commission, and that hearing is going to be at Santa Clarita City Hall. There's going to be two meetings, one at 1 p.m. and one at 7 p.m. on May the 16th. And this has to do with the CLWA purchase of Valencia Water Company and the rate increases that goes along with that. So if you're interested, even if you're not a customer of Valencia Water, it might be a good thing to go see, because this now may have effect all the way across the valley. On attendance, we're just chugging right along. I actually did talk to Michael today a little bit about how the refinancing is going on the lodge, and they're still working on it, and hopefully by the time it gets hot, we'll have air again, and we'll be able to pick up some more members. Video statistics. Remember, we keep checking those and seeing what people are doing. The blue line is the line from the highest viewed video that month, and then the red line is if people continue to view it after that. So this month, the highest viewed video, 28, had to do with the chloride issue from last month, and we'll continue to watch those and see if when they spike, and we know what people are really interested in. Okay. 2013 officer nominations. Do we have any other nominations for officers for this evening? No. Could I have a motion to accept the current nominees? Accept. Second. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, then we'll continue on for another year. Public participation. Do we have any public participants? No. No public participants. Okay. For our next meetings, for May in 2013, we'll talk more about sanitation. We'll talk about the EIR because it'll be out by that time. We can talk about their budget. We can show you a little bit closer about your budget. I didn't want to put you to sleep even more with the numbers than I did tonight. We can know the probable rate increases by then. Because if we know what alternatives they take and we can actually get some cost numbers, then we can pretty much tell you what's going on. Remember, just if we looked at, to give you an example, if we looked at last time we said, if they actually build an RO plant that treats, that treats 20 million gallons a day, which is not, we only really use 15, and give us 15 million gallons of treated water, the number to run it for a year, based upon the example I used, was $22 million a year. To you, $22 million a year is $250 more on your tax bill. That's to run it. You haven't built it yet. So we'll see what happens. Also, we're going to have a stormwater tax advocate here at the next meeting. You know, we in many cases, we'll talk about both sides of an issue. We just don't talk about one side. We were opposed to the stormwater tax, but there are people that believe it's necessary. So a gentleman approached me, and I said, sure, come on down. Don't be afraid. We haven't lynched a presenter yet, and so he'll be there. And then we can status some of the $20 million projects in Canyon Country. We can go through and see what's going on with them. In June of 2013, Basil Hewitt will be here. The other part that I think is very good is you know Andre Hollings from Scott Wilkes' office was here. In June, Morris Thomas from Buck McKeon's office is going to be here. So we're getting some attention from our elected officials, and maybe in later on in the year we can get someone from Cardenas's office, because he extends into the Santa Clarita Valley too, right? So we have an in there. We have a secret in person in that. But anyway, I think that's really good that our elected officials are starting to recognize that we're here. So thank you very much for choosing to attend the Canyon Country Advisory Committee, and I hope to see you back here next month. Thank you very much.